Thanks, Brian. Next is Mary Pyper. She's the first president of Radio Maria US, serving on the world stage, and she just returned from Europe, and she's going to tell us how the eyes of Europe are looking at us and what we're doing at these rallies.
I want to thank everybody for being out there. Come a little closer. We need to get a little closer on this issue. You know, so many times we feel we are scattered throughout and that nobody else knows what we know. Nobody else cares about what we care about. Well, I'm here to tell you, I just returned from a week in Europe, in Rome, where I met people from Radio Maria. Every 3 years we all get together, and there were people, priests and presidents from all over the world, from 70 different countries. And they had one thing to ask me over and over again, and that is, who is going to win your election? Do the people of America care about religious freedom? Do they know what we suffer in our countries because we don't have religious freedom? Do they know how precious it is and how quickly you can lose it? Do we know that? I don't know that we do. You know, the people here are informed about it, and they know about it. They want to learn about it. And I see these great signs that are going to raise awareness. And as I listened to Brian, I could only think about how many priests that I had talked to who knew friends who not only were arrested, but were thrown in jail for years and years, and some who were actually crucified for what they believed in, and that is simply God, and that God rules us, and He loves us, and that how precious it is to be able to worship Him as we are able to here in this country. You know, for many people around the world, we are the symbol of freedom, and as we go, so goes the world. And it just, it really was an awesome and very humbling experience to talk to these people who have lived in communism all their life. A priest from Romania has lived in communism all his life. He said there are only a handful of us priests because for 45 years we were not allowed to practice our religion. We were not allowed to worship God. He said, are the people in America, are they going to let that happen to them? And so what I come to you today is I beg you, because I've just come from talking to people who have experienced firsthand what it's like to live in persecution, to know people who have died for their faith. In May, I went to Ethiopia on a medical mission, and I was with a group of young people who came to pray at the hospitals with all the different people. And these people were of all different faiths who were very sick, and the one thing that I kept coming over and over to me is the faith they had in God. And how all the people, whether they were Catholic or Protestant or Muslim or Coptic, we all prayed together, and they all trusted in God to heal them and to help them, no matter how poor they were. And what I kept hearing it from these young people from Egypt that came to join me and teach me how to evangelize and tell them about the love of Christ is I said, you know, I hear it's illegal to practice your religion, to evangelize in Egypt. And these are all young professionals, engineers, pharmacists, doctors, and they said, we do it because right now we can. This is right before their election. They said, in a couple weeks, we may not be able to go out. We may even be arrested for going to church. We don't know what the future holds. But we are talking to people. We are trying to get the vote out. I've heard from them since the election. Of course, they lost the election. And they are afraid for us. That's the words they use. As they said, what is happening in Egypt now, which is actual crucifying of some Christians for their outward beliefs. He said, you know, you are down that same path. Your current president supports our new president. And at first our new president said he wasn't like that. Right. But then once he was elected, he became more and more extreme. His views became more and more known. And his policies and his enforcement of religious freedom has grown in just a few weeks. And so I talk to you now and I say, what can we do in these next few weeks to stem the tide? What can we do personally? Because that's really what it is. It's heart to heart. You know, you're going to hear the debates, you're going to hear all kinds of people talking, but what's going to impact people is you sharing your faith with them and your knowledge about this issue. And your ability to tell them that around the world people are praying for us because they're afraid for us. And because if we go down, they'll go down too. And so we have people all over the world praying for us. And these are even, I met a few priests from China. And they said, you know, what you have right now, we do Catholic radio in 60 different countries on 5 continents. We are about to lose that privilege too, because that voice will be silenced as well. So not only the public voices, but once the public voices start to be silenced, the private voices as well. And so your voice, your right to worship, is deeply threatened here. And we may not see it because this is America. It couldn't happen here. Well, that's what they thought in Romania. That's what they thought in Hungary. That's what they thought in Croatia. That's what they thought. And that wasn't the reality. So we can't, it's past thinking. It's time now to act and to get the word out and to let people know you need to vote. Your vote does count. And people die all over the world for that precious right to vote. And we can't take it for granted because we're in times now where our religious freedom, our very right to life is threatened too. Not just the unborn babies, but our right as well. So I ask you now to stand up for America, stand up for our great country that is one country under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, and let your voice be heard. Thank you.